House, I know this is going to be tough for you because you can't contain your excitement to talk about your football team playing in the divisional round, but I got to be that guy. I want to stay on track here. We'll go with the AFC game first since we're in the, Allen, Jackson. We might as well get Mahomes and Stroud in there, where, by the way, we have the exact same divisional round with the 4 teams. Not the same matchups, but the same 4 teams we had a year ago, except this time around, it's Houston playing Kansas City, not Houston playing Baltimore. Raheem, Kansas City has not played a game where guys have played since Christmas Day. Let's just think about that for a minute. There were Sunday games in Week 17. The Chiefs had their feet up. Week 18, there were games played. Nobody of significance played for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Denver waltzed their way into the postseason. Last week, Kansas City on bye. So I get the idea that Andy Reid is experienced off the bye. The Chiefs are experienced dealing with the bye. But this is a different monkey wrench for them with even more time being thrown in because of the wonky, quirky scheduling. Is that a concern for you with the Chiefs this week?
No, it's not a concern because the Chiefs have been there and done that already. That's not my concern. My concern is that Houston defense. And you're looking at a team who is top 5 in sacks. You're looking at a team which is, top 5 in EPA per play and success rate. I'm very concerned with how the Chiefs blocked them. And if you look at that first game, the Texans were in it until Tank Dell suffered that injury. So I think that is a game. That's the part of the game that concerns me for the Chiefs.
Fair enough. Okay, so the Texan defense embarrassed Justin Herbert last week. They had relentless pressure on him. They forced Herbert into 4 interceptions. And House, listen, that Kansas City left tackle, right tackle leaves a lot to be desired. However, we've seen with the Chiefs in the past, this is a team that, yes, in the regular season, is around. At times, it looks like they're going through the motions. Maybe they're disinterested. But they crank it up another notch and another level come playoff time. Offensively speaking, they played a good game against the Houston Texans. They played a very sound game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Where do you stand on this Chief offense going into this game? Are they the team that was a mess for a good chunk of this year? Or are they the team that found it over the last 2 weeks?
I like the way that they looked over the last 2 weeks because those games really reflect to me those games were games that had stakes, right? They wanted to win the 1 seed so that they could get this rest that they achieved. And Dream's point is the right point. When these teams played back on December the 21st, it was close. It was a 1-point game in the third quarter when that Tank Dell injury occurred. And I do think your point, JJ, about the rotating deck chairs on offensive line is a reason for concern. But with all of this time, there's no franchise I trust more to have a game plan, a scheme that will try and take advantage of what Houston wants to do. And I'm not laying all those points. I'm just telling you right now, it's too many points for me. I'm not comfortable with it. It's not the way that the Chiefs have won this season. And it's not kind of their way. 8.5, the line was 3.5 back in December. 8.5 is too many, but for sure, the Chiefs are the right side. And I'm going to be loading up on a bunch of like Mahomes props and looking at, the Kelsey props are all everybody, this is the whole point of Travis Kelsey. It's right now. It's Saturday, him coming out. So I'll be in those markets, but I'm not, laying all those points in this game.
It's a hefty spread. No question about it. It is a hefty spread. And Raheem, 2 years ago, now Mahomes got hurt in the game, and that was a whole subplot, and that was kind of the back and forth 2 years ago in the divisional round. But it felt like Houston is playing the role of Jacksonville 2 years ago, where Jacksonville was kind of this upstart, big dog. The game was ugly. You never got the sense that Kansas City was going to lose. But you also wondered, is Kansas City going to go and put them away? And long story short, Jacksonville covered that game. Kansas City won. Do you see a script that follows that exact same path here where it's ugly? Kansas City's going through some things. They're never going to sweat. They won't cover, but they'll find a way to win. Is that how this game plays out?
That's exactly how I see it. if you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, since they lost that Christmas Day game to the Las Vegas Raiders last season, they've won 21 games. 17 of them have been by one score. So they aren't putting teams away at all. And I don't see how that changes against this Texans defense unless CJ Stroud turns the ball over. And I think whatever he found in, at the end of the first half against the Chargers, I think that carries over, especially when you consider that before the Tank Dell injury, he was playing relatively well against the Chiefs. So I think this is a one-score game. When I look at my model, I make this Chiefs minus 6.72. So at 8.5 on the FanDuel Sportsbook, I think you have to hold your nose and play the Houston Texans. But at the same time, I kind of want to thread the needle on this, and I think you got to put the Chiefs in some teasers.
You know what? I don't think that's crazy. Listen, it's very within reason to expect the Chiefs to come out maybe a little sluggish. Houston getting after the quarterback, making this game ugly. I mean, House, look at the total in this game. The total in this game is 41.5, for goodness sakes. Books think this is going to be a low-scoring game.
It's exactly why it's a perfect teaser leg. That's exactly the kind of circumstances that you want to grab Kansas City and push them all the way down to just winning by a field goal. One item to this handicap that's worth noting is the return of Jalen Watson in that Chiefs secondary. They haven't had him since week 7. It was a prominent absence over the course of those 10-11 games without him on the football field. That secondary was extremely vulnerable. His return plus the extra time for Spags to prepare, for this defense to prepare, with his impact in that, I mean, that could be one where I might be looking at, maybe some unders with the Houston team total kind of deal, because if the identity of this Chiefs team over the run that Dream just described, right? 21 wins since they lost on Christmas of last year. It's been defense. They are a defensive football team. And if they're anchored, then I really like the idea of them, squeezing the game down, squeezing the life out of Houston. It doesn't have to be a high scoring game. I think the total is about right, 41.5. But I do like the teaser is just magnificent.
Okay. Tough game. Kansas City and Houston. Very, very tough, because I don't see Houston winning the game, which usually for me is an automatic, hey, I'm not going to play you when I can't make the case that they can go and win the game. But it's just way too many points with the Chiefs. Totally get it. Okay.